Good morning. Today we are continuing working with those fractions. We are doing PO15. I can compare and order fractions. The last few objectives have focused on working with fractions in various ways, finding equivalent fractions, simplifying them, and comparing a fraction 0, half, or 1. This objective is going to practice using those methods to compare the values of fractions. So we're going to decide which method to use to compare and order the fractions. So, reviewing our symbols. Rhoda, what is our first symbol?
Less than.
Less than. So the first symbol means that first number is less than our second number. So our next symbol means what, Matt?
Greater than.
Greater than. So that means our first number is greater than the second number. So we are going to compare the fractions using that less than, greater than, or equal to. Show how you can use equivalent fractions to do this. So this is key. We need to show our equivalent fractions. So that means we are not just writing the symbol. On the test, if it wants you to do more, you have to show more. Joy. Yeah, but how do we figure it out? When we're working with fractions, we don't always know because those denominators are different. It's hard to know which one is greater and which, like if I look at 1/3 and 1/4, they're both really small because they both have a 1 on top. How do I know which one is greater? What do you think I need to do if the directions say to use equivalent fractions? What do you think, Michael? Yeah, so I can't just look at that 3 and the 4 and say, well, 3 is less than 4, so 1/3 must be less than 1/4. I have to compare like things. How can I make 1/3 and 1/4 comparable, Claire?
Times 1/4 times 4/4 and 1/4 times 2/3.
Why would I do that, Claire?
So then the bottom numbers are the same.
Then we have common denominators. Because 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. Don't forget what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Then we have 4 times 3 is 12. And 1 times 3 is 3. Now can I compare 4/12 to 3/12 and know which one is greater?
Yes.
Which symbol should I use? Less than, greater than, or equal to? Rhoda?
Greater than.
Greater than, because 4 is bigger than 3. So this is how I'm using those equivalent fractions. Okay, so we need to pick common denominators. Let's look at our next one. 5 and 7. What would be a common denominator, Fernanda?
35.
35. So I need to get both of those denominators to be 35. What would I multiply 2/5 by, Haley?
7. 7.
Yep. Because I know 5 times 7 is 35, so I have to do 2 times 7 is 14. What do I multiply 3/7 by? Joy? 5/5. Because I know 7 times 5 is 35, and 3 times 5 is 15. So 2/5 to 3/7. Is 2/5 less than, greater than, or equal to? Matt? Less than. 14 is less than 15, so 2/5 is less than 3/7. If we look at our next, looking at these ones, we did 3 times 4, 4 times 3. 5 times 7, 7 times 5. Do I really need to do 3 times 18 and 18 times 3? What can I do that's easier, birthday boy Jack?
You can get the 3 to an 18.
I can keep my 18 the same, and I can bring my 3 to an 18. What do I multiply 4/3 by to get that up to an 18? Birthday boy? You know?
Oh dear.
Ooh, I'm putting you on the spot. Who can help the birthday boy? Oh, Jack got it, 6. 3 times 6 is 18, so 4 times 6 is 24. I didn't have to do a ton of work. I didn't have to multiply those big numbers. Always check if you only have to change one set of fractions. Okay, it makes it easier. You're gonna do the rest of those on your own. Our next section says compare fractions again, using less than, greater than, or equal to, but this time, we're going to simplify our fractions to compare them. So we're gonna simplify down to the same denominators. So if we look at 12/18ths and 9/27ths, what do you think I could simplify that down to? How low can we go? Michael?
For 9/27 to divide by 9, to get 1 on top, and then 3 on the bottom.
So what would I do to 12/18ths? How low can we go for 12/18ths? Jackson?
Divide by 6.
I can divide them both by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So now, because I simplified it down to the same denominator, now I can compare them. So it's 2/3 greater than, less than, or equal to 1/3. Fernanda? Greater than. So I know 12/18ths is greater than 9/27ths. So that first row, you are finding equivalent fractions to get that common denominator. The second row, we're simplifying it down to the same denominator. So if you have these big fractions, 20/35, simplify it down. See how low you can go. And then see if the other fraction you can simplify to that same number. Okay? Then you're going to compare them. So let's do 20/35 and 8/14. What is 20/35 simplified as low as we can go? Give it a try, Matt.
5.
Matt is thinking we can divide a 5 out of both 20 and 35. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Can I go any lower? Oh, that's simplified down. So let's look at 8/14ths. What can I simplify 8/14ths to? Mallory,
2.
I can divide a 2 out of both of those. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Common denominator is 20/35 less than, greater than, or equal to 8/14ths. Maddie, equal to. It's always fun if we get it simplified down to an equal to. All right, next section. This time we're comparing the fractions using less than, greater than, or equal to. Same thing, same symbols, but we are going to relate them to that 0, half, or 1 like we did in our last objective. So let's look at that. 18/19ths, would that be close to 0, a half, or 1? 18/19ths, Moses? It's close to 1 whole, right? 19/19 would be 1. How about 5/24ths? 0, half, or 1? Birthday boy? 0. Can I figure out which one's less than, greater than, or equal to?
Yes.
Yeah, what would it be? Rhoda?
18/19.
18/19ths is greater than 5/24ths. Just by comparing that 0, half, or 1. Well, let's look at 1/11, close to 0, half, or 1. Gigi. 1/11. Is that close to 0, half, or 1?
Mm,
Yeah, because that 1 is super close to 0. 19/50ths, close to 0, half, or 1, Charlotte? Half. Half of 50 is 25. 19 is really close to 25. So is 1/11 less than, greater than, or equal to 19/50ths? Michael?
Less than.
Less than, 0 is less than a half. So the first two parts, we were finding common denominator, simplifying down to that same denominator. This one is really easy because we've got that 0, half, or 1. You can't always use this one because sometimes they're both closer to 0. Well, how do I know which one it would be then? So that's when you have to go back and find those common denominators. Oh, our next one's kind of an easy one. 8/8 compared to 65 over 65. Moses. Yeah, 8/8 is 1. What about 65 over 65? Vinny,
1.
that is 1. So what would my comparison be? Matt?
Equal to?
Equal to, because they are both the exact same. All right, let's look at our second page. This time you can use whatever method you choose, and you're going to order the fractions from least to greatest. So we're not using our symbols on this one. You're putting them in order. So you're going to put the smaller fraction, then the bigger fraction. But we're going to use these three methods. You're going to decide which method works the best. So if I have 3/8 and I have 1/2, which method can I use? I could use any of them. Which one do you want me to use? Birthday boy.
The last one.
0, half, and 1. So 3/8, is that close to 0, a half, or 1? Jude?
A half.
That's close to a half. Is a half close to 0, half, or 1? Rhoda?
A half.
That's closer to a half. Uh-oh. They're both close to a half. What can I do now, Michael?
Equivalent fraction.
Okay. So what would I do?
You would multiply the 2, the half on the bottom by 4, and that would give you 4 over 8, which is 1/2, and then you compare that to 3 over 8, but 4 over 8 is larger.
Okay, so comparing to those halves didn't quite work because they both were really close. One is a half, the other one's close to a half. So we went to equivalent fractions. So we got that common denominator. And we can see that 4/8 is bigger than 3/8. So when I'm going to put them in order, I'm going to use my original fractions. And I know that 3/8 is smaller than 1/2. So I'm going to put the least to the greatest, 3/8 to 1/2. Does that make sense? So doing it with just two fractions is a little bit easier. When you have improper fractions, find out what your whole numbers are. Right? 4/3 would be what fraction? What mixed number? 4/3 is what mixed number? Michael?
1 and 1/3.
1 and 1/3. 7/2 is what mixed number? Rhoda?
3 and 1/2.
Is it easy to compare them now?
Yeah.
Because 1 is smaller than 3, right? So I didn't have to I could have done that common denominator, finding those equivalent fractions, Or I could just look at my improper fractions and say, well, I know 1 is smaller than 3. So you can use that also only for the improper ones. So we would know that 4/3 is smaller than 7/2. Now we come down to multiple fractions. So let's look at 1/2, 12/16, and 6/24. What method do you want me to use on this one? What do you think, Michael?
Probably for this one, we do 0, 1/2, and
Okay, so 1/2 is close to what, Michael?
1/2.
12/16 is close to what?
1,
6/24 is close to what?
0.
Ah, I can put that in order pretty easy. The one closer to 0 is my smallest one. The one closest to the 1/2 is my next, and the one closest to the 1 is my next. Did I have to use that method? No, I could have simplified down. I could have said 12, let's see. Simplifying down, it still wouldn't have a common denominator. Yeah, this is probably the easiest one to use for this one, because they've got such big fractions. Let's look at 5/5, 3/10, and 17/20. What method should I use? Vinny?
I don't really know a method, but I know that 5/5 equals 1,
Uh-huh.
and then, yeah.
So, I'm looking at this, 5/5 is exactly 1. 3/10 and 17/20,
No.
those are both less than 1, they're not improper, so they're less than 1, so I know 5/5 is gonna be at the end. I know that's my biggest one. So now I need to compare 3/10 and 17/20. What could I use to compare those two? Matt?
10 times 2.
I could find that equivalent fraction, multiplying by 2. So I would get 20, 6/20. I know 6/20 is less than 17/20. Oops. I have to put my original fraction. 3/10 to 17/20. I could also have said 3/10 is close to 0, 17/20 is close to that 1. That would have worked also. So either way, I get the same answer. Now let's look at 3/5, 11/15, and 8/10. Oh goodness. What should I do to solve this one? What would you do, Rhoda?
Common denominator.
Yeah, I would probably do those equivalent fractions too to get this common denominator. What would be a common denominator of 5, 15, and 10? Rhoda?
5.
The only problem there is I can't divide them all down to 5. 11/15 is as simple as it gets. So I can't simplify it down. So I need to multiply up to using equivalent fractions. Alex?
30.
Yeah, they all can multiply up to 30. So what do I multiply 5 by to get to 30? Anyone? 5 times what equals 30? Just say it out loud. 6. So 5 times 6 is 30, 3 times 6 is 18. What do I multiply 15 by to get to 30? 15 times 2 is 30, 11 times 2 is 22. What do I multiply 10 by to get to 30? 10 times 3 is 30, 8 times 3 is 24. Now I can compare them easily. 18 30ths, 22 30ths, and 24 30ths. To put my final answer, I have to go back to the original fractions. I know that's why I lined them up this way. So I know 18/30 matches up with 3/5. That's my smallest number. 22/30 matches up with 11/15. That's my second number. And then my last number is 8/10. So my final answer is going to be the original fractions put in order. But when you're showing your work, notice how I'm putting those changed fractions directly under the one that it connects to, so I know which fraction to put in the order line. Any questions? So we did this whole row together. We did some of these, we did some of these. So you have work time to work on finishing this page. So calmly and quietly, keep working on finishing our page, or both pages. Don't forget, you have work on the first page and then go to the second page. If you want to check your answers, come on up. If you have questions, something's not looking right, come on up and check with me. If you finish, we have Khan Academy due on Tuesday. We have packet number 2 due on Tuesday. And we have our Mysteries of the Rosary. If you're done with both of those, work on memorizing your mysteries. This is one of those objectives that you can't go fast with. When we go fast, we make those simple math mistakes. Slow down, and make sure you're doing it correctly. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.